Preseason Debates Countdown. 16 days.
16 days until the start of the NFL season. We're counting down the biggest NFL preseason debates. And one comes a little tangentially off of last night, Perloff. Not about Sam Howell and the Commanders, but on the other side, about the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Lamar Jackson didn't play last night, but you can obviously see the difference, just Zay Flowers alone. But you can see the difference in what they're trying to do as a passing attack. So the debate is, can Lamar Jackson become an elite passer?
Okay. So Lamar Jackson has been an MVP and a great quarterback, but he's never really had more than 3,300, I think, is the total. What's his high total? 3,300 yards. So I think this is a two-part question. 3,127 yards is his career high in basically 4 full seasons as a starter. I do not think he can, because to be an elite passer, you have to throw for at least 4,000 yards, if not a little more. So you think of the elite passers, you're talking about Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and I don't think he can become that. I don't think he has to become that either, but I don't think he is going to all of a sudden throw for 4,700 yards here. I agree with you. There's definite improvement. Zay Flowers is awesome. But are you serious? You think he's going to go from 3,000 yards to 4,600?
I think that he's definitely topping 4,000 yards. And I don't know if they're going to need to do this, but I think he will get to that mark almost to make a point. Because they know that for fans and for the casual, like, NFL fan, people know 4,000 yards is kind of like a certain benchmark, right? If you want to be considered a really great passer, that's like the low on the benchmark that you can get to in this day and age, especially with 17 games. And so I think that he's definitely going to get to 4,000. My question is, he's still going to rush for 1,000. You know, that's kind of been the whole thing about Lamar, is also getting those rushing yards in. Josh Allen gets sort of close, so it's definitely possible, but will the rushing
close? I mean,
700 yards. I'm like
700 yards compared to what? Let's look at some Lamar Jackson. Here's the thing. I know this offense is geared towards passing, but if he has a lane right in front of him, you're telling me he's not going to take off?
Well, that's part of the discipline of really, trying to commit to a passing attack and then also letting your running backs do some of that work as well. Listen, we could say the same thing about Josh Allen. He doesn't have the discipline right now to not take the to not take the running lane. So but I think that Lamar, I think they're trying to make a point here that the way they've been playing with Lamar has not gotten them where they want to go in terms of the playoffs. Now, he hasn't been healthy the last 2 seasons, but they've got to change something up. And Zay Flowers looks legit.
Yeah, he looks great. Odell
Not to
Beckham,
mention Odell, yeah.
Yeah,
Sean
but Odell, listen, Odell will probably be hurt at some point. I'm sorry. So Josh Allen has 7 attempts a game in his career, and Lamar Jackson has 10.5 attempts per game in his career. He had 11.7 in his MVP year. I just think there's going to be lanes there, especially with all these young receivers. What happens is, to cover these guys, you're going to have to go man-to-man. You can't leave everybody in zone. So you're going to turn your back on Lamar Jackson. He's going to be too tempted to run, and that's going to take away pass attempts. To get 4,000 yards, you need a lot of pass attempts. It's just pure math, Maggie. Pure
Thank
math.
you. I know, Dartmouth. I appreciate that. You bringing math into this Tuesday
numbers.
afternoon.
There's only so many downs, and if he takes off on all these downs, it's going to be – I think it's still going to be tempting for him to run because he's so good at it. I mean, he's definitely the best running quarterback of all time. I don't think, as far as the running goes, not the total package, although he's pretty good. But I don't think that he can get to 4,000 yards because the carries are just going to be too tempting. Now, listen, will the running backs get any carries there? They traditionally have not. J.K. Dobbins is still not healthy, so I don't know who else is going to carry the ball. They might pass a lot, but I just think Lamar's running will just sort of water down his passing stats. That's what I think. I mean, you could be right.
I think you're going to see the change, and you're going to see a commitment to the change. And
so you're saying if he drops back, say he drops back like a long pass, 7 steps, and there's a gaping hole right there, you think he's going to say, you know what, I could run for 12, but just to make a point here, I'm going to throw the ball?
No, I think it's going to be like running the offense. And if you do feel like you have Bateman or Beckham or Flowers or Mark Andrews and you have a play, I think that he's going to go arm first, whereas before it's definitely been legs first.
Yeah, okay. I like getting a quick pass to Zay Flowers and letting him work a little bit.
The other part, too, is, this is going to be, people have said this, I'm not reinventing the wheel here, but the AFC North is going to be really good. I mean, it's always super competitive, but you're looking at the Bengals where Joe Burrow, we have some sound on that, don't we? We have Zach Taylor. Burrow, of course, is, recovering from a calf strain. Here's the latest from Zach Taylor on how much practice does Burrow need before he returns.
1 rep. He needs 1 rep. He looks great. I mean, physically, just walking around, he looks probably as good as he's ever looked at this point. And so that's a positive.
Walking around, he's looked as good as he's ever looked? Okay, whatever. But you get the point. I mean,
does that mean if fashion-wise, he's got some cool outfits on again?
Yeah, I was like, he's just feeling really confident walking around the building, high-fiving people. But it's going to be a crazy division if the Bengals do what people expect, which is, basically be a factor throughout the whole season and, a Super Bowl contender. Of course, the Ravens. The Steelers, there's nothing but positive coming out of the Steelers. The Pickett to George Pickens looks amazing. Obviously, don't have to go through that. And then the Browns are the big sleeper team, I think, in a lot of people's minds.
And your point is?
My point is that I think that the Ravens are going to have to keep up. I think these changes have to happen because I think this is going to end up being a really, really tight division. And so far, while they've been a playoff team, they've never been more than just a playoff team. They've never been a true contender.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just because the other teams I'm not sure I follow your logic. You're saying because the other teams in the division are so good, that's going to make the Ravens' passing offense better?
I think it necessitates that the passing offense.
So there are going to be close games. They're going to have to throw more, and they won't be ahead. I don't know. I mean, even last year, remember they played those 2 games at the end of the season against the Bengals, and those were just knock them out, drag them down, ugly.
Well, you have to have the ability to do that too.
I feel like, I totally understand what you're saying. They do have Todd Monken, and I just feel like when it's important and it's a stressful divisional game, they're going to revert to what they know, which is smash mouth football or old school football. It's such a cliche, but I just think that they're going to play tough. It's the Ravens, it's an AFC North. It's a sort of sock them in the mouth. It's not a throw the ball all over the field.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. But you're seeing Pickett and Pickens with the passes over 25 yards. It changes.